It's really helpful to understand just how obsessed we are in our cultural worldview with science. Science has become our religion in every possible way. I even recently saw somebody who's a psychic medium, and she was citing data and scientific studies as to why it is that what she's doing is somehow perhaps valid or can be approached. And I want to challenge this idea because science, in a lot of ways, isn't necessary to feed faith. Now, for some of us, it's a way to kind of like walk our way back to the heart, to walk our way back to faith. But what is faith? Faith is to have reverence for all of life, whether it can be explained or not explained, mysterious, or however we want to categorize it. And we need to understand that this tendency to scientificate everything, to create structures and models that are now dated, that are now put on a spreadsheet, can actually inhibit our path back to the heart, especially in the deeper layers where the unfolding of awareness and consciousness starts to play. Because remember that the divine feminine is the ability to play all of our capacities, all of our layers, all of the layers of the heart equally, kind of to become a great instrument for the divine, because we are an instrument. This whole being, this whole life is an instrument. And when we start to see life as kind of this, I want to say three-dimensional, but I think it's more than that, this like multi-dimensional instrument where you pluck a string here and you turn a string there and you push over here and something over here changes. That's an on the ground understanding that just isn't going to be explained away by data. To become a living instrument of the heart means that, sure, we're able to play with the matter, with what science can track physically with matter, but we can also play with emotion and thought. Now, some of that can be tracked and some of it can't. We can also play with deep intuition, which is so elusive and so subtle that it really is under the radar of sound. It's kind of like the moment of silence that then births sound, that then births thought, emotion, and then the physical world. So that's the third rung. And then we have the fourth, which is the deep heart, this concept of spaciousness or the stillness that births the pulsation of being, which is one and the same with pulsation, and the paradox that pulsation and silence are the same thing. Expand, contract, pause. Expand, contract, pause is all happening simultaneously. That's the core of the heart. That can't be tracked by something up and out here. However, when we become musicians of life, when we become deeply involved with the great instrument of existence, and the body becomes a creative vehicle, a vehicle of imagining, a vehicle of riding the pulsations, then we might be able to go so far out that we kind of make these agreements with science, and then that tracks back in. But the heart, this pulsation at the center, is not going to be tracked. And so far as you believe that it's only real if it can be scientifically studied, it's only real if the brain is going to map it, it's only real if there's a data point about it, is extremely limited. And we have limited ourselves probably because we have our own fears, we have our own cultural conditionings. We may even have some trauma in there where like faith is no longer safe for us. So looking at what faith really means and where the power of reverence can come in to express the infinite capacity of the curious heart that is itself imagination, that is itself that expand, contract, pause happening simultaneously, right? That's the reclaiming of reverence. That's the reclaiming of faith. And if science wants to play along for the ride for bits here and there, that's fine. It's on the scale, but it's pretty far out there on the scale. And I think we live in a time where that's actually not where the healing needs to happen. It's not happening in data points. Healing is happening through vibration and sound, which is very close in. It's very close in. To be able to take a breath, to be able to resonate, to be able to feel curious enough, feel free enough, feel the sovereignty of the heart that is pure imagination, pure creation, such that that creation and that imagination becomes the great musician, becomes the great artist, becomes the one that is totally saturated and stopped sometimes by great unexplainable beauty, because great unexplainable beauty is the outcome of that closest layer of pulsation, and no amount of data or science is going to come close to a realization of beauty.